Did you know that preset 3 of Gohan has this Super Soul right here with the Limit Burst boosting the damage of the Kamehameha Super Attack? It is just the Kamehameha Super Attack, no other version, Supers or Ultimates included. However, on preset 3 of Gohan, he doesn't have this attack. Instead, he has Masenko. Side note, I can't remember if Gohan during the Cell Saga actually used Masenko. If he did, please let me know in the comments. And the Limit Burst, once activated, for some reason, does actually increase the damage of all of the attacks on Gohan. But again, he doesn't have the Kamehameha Super Attack. It was presumably replaced with either Meteor Crash or with the Masenko Super Attack. I do expect this to be changed in the future because this is quite literally a pointless Limit Burst to have specifically on preset 3 of Gohan. Lightning Impact Ultimate Attack, the Majube Ultimate, has the longest range out of every attack in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 as of right now, as you can see right here. I actually thought the longest range was the Father-Son Kamehameha that Gohan and future Gohan can use, but no, it's the Majube Lightning Impact. I don't believe it increases distance if it's charged or if you just do it straight away, but as you can see here, compared to the Father-Son Kamehameha, Lightning Impact actually goes past by a considerable amount. It goes past the invisible wall, the invisible barrier, keeping you in bounds on the Archipelago stage, as you can see right here. The range is absolutely ludicrous. However, I mean, on a custom character, there is a Super Soul, I believe, the Khalifa Super Soul, where it automatically forces your opponent to lock on. But for the most part, you are probably not going to hit Lightning Impact from this distance, at least not on the Archipelago stage. During the online Frieza event in Canton City in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Frieza's spaceship via the time miniature, as you can see right here, becomes inaccessible. You can't visit Frieza's spaceship to do the missions, such as to get, you know, the Turn Gold and Awaken skill, to do the Frieza or Cooler missions, whatever you want to call them. However, there is actually a way to fix this, even if the event is on. Firstly, I mean, you can see it on the screen right here. Firstly, quit the game, then on your console, disconnect from the internet. I think on PC, if you're using an Infinite cable, just disconnect the Infinite cable or start Steam offline or what have you. Disconnect from the internet, then restart Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, then log in. At this point, keep in mind, you won't have the option of going to the multi-lobby or the single lobby. You'll just select the character and it'll load in, and it'll actually load in faster. Interesting bit of tidbit there, in case you want to load in faster in the future. Then Canton City will be static. It'll be as if, well, like how it is when the game first came out. Therefore, you can then fly to the Frieza time miniature to then access the ship to do the missions or whatever you need to do. Then, if you want, you can then quit the game again, reconnect to the internet, and then continue as you were. Technically speaking, depending on the circumstance, you can have 2 of the same Frieza characters, or Frieza, in Canton City at the exact same time, as you can see right here, via the online Frieza event. Depending on if Frieza spawns either his first form or Turn Golden or what have you, you can see he's right here. But then if you go to where Frieza is in Canton City at the Namekian area as a mentor, he's here as well. It's the same Frieza. Obviously, this is a bit of an oversight. It's just a little bit funny how they'll do this, but they will then temporarily lock the Frieza time miniature so you can't go and do the missions in Frieza's spaceship. But there's 2 Friezas here. Your stats can change depending on what body type and height you pick when you're making your character. On the screen right now, you can see a screenshot of a comment I found, which I personally found very useful. So pause to read this comment and to learn it and understand it and stuff like that, if you so wish. Depending on the situation and the stage, the Spirit Bomb Super Attack will rebound, but it will go through solid matter. This must be a glitch, but if you launch the Spirit Bomb Super Attack and your opponent moves out of the way of it, it can go through, I believe it works on the World Tournament stage, it'll go through the stands and then come back and possibly hit your opponent. You can get a guaranteed successful grab if you immediately go for the grab after getting a successful perfect block, also known as a just guard. All 5 of the current avatar or CAC or custom character, we even call it, all 5 of the current CAC avatar, again, whatever races in the game right now, all have different passive abilities. For male margins, they can take, well, they do take less damage the more stamina they have, and vice versa. Female margins have incredibly fast stamina recovery. Saiyans get an attack increase, a Zenkai boost, when they have flashing red health. Earthlings have auto ki recovery, and they get an attack increase when they have max ki. Namekians have health regen whenever they have flashing red health, and the Frieza race has the fastest speed out of anyone in the game. Again, there are a few more to this, so it's not limited to just those things I've just mentioned, but I think that's a good starting point, at least for what this video is, I guess. Certain skills, if fully charged, and if you're in a Super Saiyan transformation, can teleport. These skills include Kamehameha, the ×10 Kamehameha, as well as the fully charged Big Bang Kamehameha, as well as Evil Explosion. Custom Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta can use Time Skip. No, really, he has a time skip skill, the Flash Fist Crush, I believe the name of it is. This is more than likely a reference to Dragon Ball GT when Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta battled against Omega Shenron, and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta was able to land punches on him without even moving, or at least to us, right? It could be a reference to that. Either way, very cool detail, and it just feels great using a time skip skill on Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Xenoverse 2. Going to Tosok right here in Conton City in Xenoverse 2, you can use any TP medals and or STP medals to level up from level 1 all the way to the maximum level. Now, do keep in mind, you do need to have a character that has broken their limits before. So if you can only get to, for example, level 85 on your highest level character, when you make a new character or try to level up another existing character using Tosok, you can only go up to level 85. So if you have given Whis in Conton City the Tempura, I believe these, you can then get from level 1 all the way to level 140. That will take you about, give or take, as you can see on the screen right here, about give or take 16 or so minutes. So again, you can't surpass your highest level character, if that makes sense. You need to have unlocked your potential via Guru and your potential via Whis. You can do something that's known as snap vanishing on certain characters and for your custom characters, depending on what awoken skill they have. You can do this on custom characters if you have either the Beast awoken skill or any of the Super Saiyan labeled transformations. So Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, Super Vegeta 1 and 2, Future Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, and you guessed it, Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. To do this, simply hold down the heavy input on PlayStation, this is triangle, and it will automatically snap vanish, as you can see right here. Doing this when your opponent, for example, is going for an ultimate or transformation or guarding, will instantly break their guard if you are able to land it. Your starting moveset can change depending on which of the 3 options you pick when you first make your character. Those 3 options are: I'd like it up close, nice and personal, I'll hang back and blast them from afar, and close or far, I keep it balanced. If you click the first option, I like it up close, nice and personal, your starting moveset will be Meteor Crash, Meteor Blow, Super Guard, the Full Power Energy Blast Volley, and Super Front Jump. If you select I'll hang back and blast them from afar, your starting moveset will be the Consecutive Energy Blast, Energy Shot, Energy Charge, as well as the Full Power Energy Blast Volley and the Super Back Jump. And if you select Close or Far, I keep it balanced, your starting moveset will be Meteor Crash, the Consecutive Energy Blast Super Attack, after image, as well as full power energy volley, and your evasive will be instant raise. Side note, if you right off the bat, you can make one character with all three of these options, then delete the other two characters and you'll keep the skill. So you can mix and match right off the bat. Some of these skills are incredibly useful and flat out good. For example, Instant Rise is widely considered one of, if not the best evasive skill in the game because it does its job. The Consecutive Energy Blast Super Attack is an incredibly underrated key-based super attack, and Energy Charge, despite it being the worst charge attack in the game, starting off from the very beginning, it can be incredibly, I can't stress this enough, it can be incredibly useful. Despite the name of the evasive being Instant Rise, you can use Instant Rise to go both up as well as to go down. Dodon Ray is a key-based super attack which takes no key to actually use, and if you're playing with limitations off and you have the Dodon Ray Super Soul, you'll recover about 1 bar of ki each time you go for a Dodon Ray, regardless whether or not the Dodon Ray is successful, or if it's blocked, or if it misses, or what have you. This makes for a very nice alternative to using, for example, a charge skill, for example, energy charge, full power charge, maximum burst, ultimate charge, etc. Do keep in mind that it is pretty spammy. However, certain attacks can go through super armor. For example, the basic grab, as well as skills such as Super God Fist, Savage Strike, as well as Gigantic Rage. You can use the Hyper Movement Evasive to freeze the basic combination string that you're doing and to, well, move at a hyper speed, whatever, behind your opponent. It's a cool effect. It's not really efficient, but if you've got stamina spare and you're going to win, or you just want to flex, I guess, then this does look so cool, as you can see right here. Full power Jiren's grab will drain your opponent's stamina. If you access your play trends in play data, you'll get a couple of play trends which indicates or claims that you have certain favorite characters, favorite skills, and stuff like that. Although this technically is wrong, at least to some point, because it may not actually be your personal favorite skill, super attack, ultimate attack, character, or what have you. What this actually is the characters and skills and stuff like that you've actually used the most, not your technical favorite, again, super attack, ultimate, finisher, I think it is, as well as character. There's special dialogue in quotations, between a Saibaman and a Cell Jr., despite them never meeting, at least as of right now, in the series. Take a listen to the special dialogue. Despite not being able to stack Dragon Balls, as in once you've got all 7 Dragon Balls, you can't get any more of them until you summon Shenron and use Dragon Balls, in very rare circumstances, you can kind of have ownership over multiple copies of Dragon Balls at the same time. For example, right here, I technically, as of this part here, like this footage, have 3 sets of Dragon Balls. The first set is what I have from getting them from payload quests, and the other 2 sets here are from the time-space delivery from, well, participating in the Piccolo exclusive World Tournament and the Gohan exclusive World Tournaments to celebrate the release, the Japanese release rather, of Dragon Ball Super Superhero. I don't know what's going to happen if I accept both of these at the same time. I'm sure they will get overwritten and I'll lose 2 copies of them. But it's just interesting that in very rare circumstances, for 90 days at most, you can technically have ownership kind of multiple sets of Dragon Balls in Xenoverse 2, despite Dragon Balls not being stackable. By clicking left on the D-pad, at least on the PS4 and PS5 version of Xenoverse 2, you can go into Skeleton mode and you can actually see what skills, with the exception of the Awoken skill, your opponent has on their character, as well as what their power levels are. Villainous mode characters have no super souls, therefore they can't limit burst. Although I don't believe it's ever been explained why they don't have any super souls, it's more than likely for a balancing reason, because these tend to be much stronger characters than a normal character, and they have a ki charge which also recovers stamina and ki at the same time. Keep in mind it does have a priority on ki, so when you have max ki, it will stop charging even if you don't have max stamina. Again, it's never explained. That's more than likely the reason why, but in terms of the lore, I guess it could be assumed that it's because they sold their souls, maybe, to get an increased power up, maybe sell your soul, super soul. Let's move on. There's a way to unlock several skills in one go, and that is to defeat, or rather to win, in the Crystal Raid mode. Regardless of which team you're on, as in if you're the raid boss or one of the raid bosses in the 2 versus 4 Crystal Raid mode, or if you're battling against the raid boss or the raid bosses. Keep in mind, I believe for DLC you'll need the appropriate DLC pack, and I don't think it includes skills from every single DLC pack, but I may be wrong on that, and I don't believe it includes the Supreme Kai of Time skills either. Much like in previous Dragon Ball games, Hercule has a jetpack, so he can actually fly. Going back to Xenoverse 1, once again, if you used any of the Super Saiyan forms, and bonus fact I guess, they weren't Awokens in Xenoverse 1, they were Ultimate, so a Super Saiyan Ultimate attack, which is weird saying that, but regardless, if you used any of the Super Saiyan forms in Xenoverse 1, you would have unlimited ki, and when you went for Supers and Ultimates, it wouldn't drain your ki. Well, rather, when you're in these forms, your ki will constantly drain unless you were to use a charge skill or a specific Super Soul, etc., but you wouldn't lose ki specifically for going for a super or an ultimate attack. If you summon one of the Zen-Oh CC mascots and then use the Kamehameha pose, it will mimic you, and I never knew this, so fair play. If you already have all 3 of the current raid bosses unlocked, those 3 being Demigra, Final Form Mirror, and Corrupted Merged Zamasu, and then you rebuy those gifts and then talk to Fu again and hand over those gifts, he'll then instead, because you've already got those characters unlocked, he'll then instead give you 10 Demon Realm Crystals per gift you give him. The DLC vehicle, the Space Pod vehicle, is the only vehicle in Xenoverse 2 right now that if you fall off of the city and once you're teleported back, it will have a different sound effect. Take a listen. There is a somewhat, but not really, secret preset of Beerus, kind of, but again, not really, and that's preset 2, which at first glance you may not notice there's anything different, but if you look at Beerus' head, he's actually got the Wiz symbol on his head. Play the Xenoverse 2 story mode and you'll understand why. But this is something that I didn't realize until much later on in Xenoverse 2's life cycle. Even though Vegito is the strongest character in all of Dragon Ball Z, before Dragon Ball made a return with the Dragon Ball Z Battle of the Gods movie. So, in essence, even though Vegito is the strongest character in all of Dragon Ball Z before the Beerus stuff happened, in Xenoverse 2, and I also believe in Xenoverse 1, he only has full power charge. He's the strongest character. Why does he have the second worst charge game in all of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2? Why? You can get a guaranteed Dragon Ball to drop if you make a new character and talk to this character in Conton City right here. The reward from defeating this character is, I believe it's the 4-star Dragon Ball, but if there's a Dragon Ball that you don't have, for example, if you've got all of them apart from, again, for example, the 2nd star Dragon Ball, the 2-star Dragon Ball, what have you, by defeating this character, you'll get that Dragon Ball or any other Dragon Ball that you don't have. You can do this as much as you want until you've got a completed set, then you won't get any more until you then use the Dragon Balls on Shenron. And again, this is a guaranteed drop from defeating this character. The only, I guess, downside towards this is that this can only be done once ever per character. So if you've got one slot free and you need to get Dragon Balls, just go and make a new character, defeat Raditz, then talk this character. Again, that's by the school in Canton City or the Time Patrol Academy, whatever it's called. Defeat her and you'll then get one Dragon Ball that you don't currently have. Goku, with the exception of his Ultra Instinct forms, is somewhat designed to be a character that's easy to use but hard to master, and a character that you can just play Xenoverse 2 now without playing it before and do decently well with. Let's be honest, Dragon Ball is the Goku show, right? Like, it just is. So given that he's designed to be easy to use but hard to master, does make sense. For example, his square combo can easily be extended into a infinite combo, and his heavy is a fantastic knockdown, and on his Super Saiyan Blue presets he has 7 bars of ki, meaning you can go for both ultimates back to back after a triangle, well, a heavy knockdown and stamina break, etc. Oh, and let's not forget about Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken.